If you're looking for a craft fair idea or a quick and easy gift that people are really going to love, this may be the video for you. Hi, I'm Karen Burchill, Creative Katie. Welcome to my channel. So I am starting with a Dollar Tree journal. Really inexpensive. I gave it a coat of gesso front and back. Took it off the coils, put a coat of gesso on the front and the back. And then I grabbed what I had in my stash. This was a masterboard that I had created before that I absolutely love. But you could put any collage paper, gel print, you could create a masterboard for it. And I will see if I can find that video where I create that masterboard or something similar. Now, all I'm doing here is I'm applying a amount of gel medium right onto the cover. And then I'm going to put it also on the back of the masterboard, the collage paper. I find if I put the glue on both, it works so much better. And I want really good adhesion there because this is a cover. It's going to get handled. Using a brayer to make that perfect adhesion, genius. Now, once it dries, you want to use an X-Acto knife and cut it off. Get your cutting board out and do that. Now you want to make sure that that's completely dry before you do it. The paper is less likely to rip. And did I wait? No, but do as I say, not as I do. Got a bit of this masterboard left. I'm going to save that up. Makes good ATC backgrounds. Got a little bit more here. You want to be careful that you do not cut into the cover. So take your time, line it up, and make sure your X-Acto knife is sharp. And then again, check those corners, making sure you have adhesion right to the end. The last thing you want, especially if you're making these as gifts or as craft fair, is for those to come up. So using the masterboard, using a collage paper, scrapbook paper, a napkin, a gel print, makes it really quick and easy. So you can have masterboards on hand and then go to town. Now, you notice the white where I took it off the coils. You can't really get to the end. So I could paint that black. I could leave it white. But what I'm opting to do is I'm trying to match colors roughly with what was already there to make that lines disappear. And if I mix the paints, you'll see at the end, you don't see that the collage paper actually ended there or the masterboard ended there. Now you want to be careful when you're putting paint in there that you don't clog up those holes because you need to put this back on the coil. So I'm using quinacridone magenta, my Naples yellow right here, and I'll be using Prussian blue. And I mix them to get some of those side colors. Now my masterboard works because I know I only use paints and products that are permanent. I know they're not going to reactivate when I glue them down. And that's why I choose to use mostly permanent color mediums. It just simplifies life. So you can see how by going off the edge with that, you've kind of hidden that collage paper ends there. I'm even working some of that paint onto the collage paper to further meld or trick the eye into believing that it's all one piece. So I'm liking how this has turned out. And then I have these white edges. I want to get rid of them. So what I'm doing is I have black paint, and you're going to see this a little better in a minute, on a makeup sponge, and I'm edging the page with it. This is putting the black on the edge sealing the sides as well with the acrylic paint, and just framing the cover. So when I'm doing this cover, I am just using the mixed media art journaling techniques that I've always used. If I can't find the video where I make this exact masterboard, I'm not sure it even exists. If I can't find it, I will link to how I create a masterboard. And you can do one in the colors and the stamps and the stencils of your choosing and then what's in your stash, and then use it as to make these custom covers. So there I'm just edging both of them. This is the front and the back. Now, I opted with this masterboard to leave it as it is. I loved it as it was. I didn't need to add anything more. But you can use a masterboard and then add texture paste or other layers if it's not exactly where you want it. If I was making multi-makes like for a craft fair or even gifts, I would make several masterboards and then use those master boards to cover multiple journals, multiple items. So now I'm doing the inside cover. Now I could have left this white, but of course you can see I made a mess. So I am just using the same colors that were primarily on the outside, quinacridone magenta, Naples yellow, and the Prussian blue, and I am putting that on with a makeup sponge. Now remember, this was fully gessoed, so the paint goes on quite easily. The gesso also kind of seals the paper. And since it's going to be handled, you want that. I'm not trying to make the front and the back of this look um, exact. In fact, I want these colors. And yes, absolutely, looks like a hot mess, but I'm going to add more layers. I'm going to keep the inside of the journal covers. They're simple, but I do want to add some pattern, some design and color. It's too easy to leave it white. And since this is a custom cover, especially if you're giving it as a gift, you want to make it look finished. So now I've got a script stamp here. I'm stamping with black acrylic paint, adding some detail. And again, that's kind of knocked back that hot mess, right? You add more layers, it knocks it back. Now, here's the mistake I made. I did not pay attention to which way was up here. So some of my script is upside down in the end. I don't care. Because it's not so front and center, it doesn't really matter, but you may want to mark which end is up. Then I grab this leafy vine stencil and white acrylic paint, and I am stenciling through this. This is going to knock back the text, the script. It's going to kind of, again, knock back some of those bright colors. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You can pick any all over pattern that you want. You could also give it a wash of white gesso, and that would just soften it, especially if you think, like I do, it's pretty bright right now, like, before I did this stenciling. I'm holding down the stencil here. I don't want it to shift and move because I want fairly good stenciling. I'm not going for perfection. This journal I am using, it is intended to be used by me. And there we have it. There's the one, there's the other. The difference when you add the layers. So now I'm just going to put the stencil back on here and do the same to the other side. So go through your stencils. This is why I love these 12 by 12 stencils because it's so easy. You just put it on and you don't have to reposition it or anything. But you can reposition a 6 by 6 or an 8 by 8 stencil and make that work as well if that's what you have. So there are my inside, and I realized the upside down, but you know what? I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. I edge it with the black acrylic paint just like I did with the front. This gives another coat around the edges. And then I want to just splatter with gold. Oh, my camera doesn't seem to like my splattering here. Sorry about the zooming in and out or getting um, kind of out of sync there. So there's the front and there's the back. And I'm going to call this pretty much done. But because it's a cover that's going to be handled, I want to give it a coat or two of polycrylic, Minwax polycrylic. This is satin finish, and that's a Dollar Tree baker's rack. And I'm using a bigger brush because I find it works really well. I did stir gently the polycrylic varnish. This I just get at the hardware store. And I do for the cover, I'm going to give it two coats, but I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to paint the inside of the cover and make sure I get the sides as well. I use satin because I like a little bit of sheen, but not too much. But you can get flat as well. So I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to put it back on the coils. Now, this one seemed to fight me a lot. I will link the video where I teach how to take it off the coils and put it on because I have a full length video for that. So here you're just going to, I put the front cover on first and then the back cover on afterwards. And then you squeeze the rings, the coils together, and there you have your journal. There's front and back. I absolutely love it, and I'm going to enjoy using my custom cover. So look at what you got in your stash. It's not too early to start craft fair makes or gifts for Christmas or anytime. Until next time, go get creative.